My father, Thomas Bryant, was the founder of Medicare Pharma, one of Chicago's most successful pharmaceutical companies until last year. That is, 3 months ago. He passed away suddenly from a heart attack. He was 68, far too young to die. They said he collapsed at the company office in the Willis Tower, right in Chicago's Loop District, surrounded by the empire he had built with his own hands. It was a fitting end for a man who lived and breathed his work until his final breath. But I wasn't there to hold his hand in those last moments. I never got the chance. Mother's call came that same night. Her voice was cold and detached, like she was reading a weather report. Thomas is dead. The funeral is on Sunday. That was all. No pause, no tremor, no grief. I remember gripping the phone tightly, unable to speak. The line went dead, leaving behind a silence that pressed down on me like a heavy fog. Only after his death did I begin to understand how terribly lonely my father must have been in that grand house, surrounded by family but understood by none. I work as a senior accountant at a major accounting firm in downtown Chicago. My salary, $80,000 a year, isn't glamorous, but it's honest. I live alone in a modest apartment in the River North District, not far from the Magnificent Mile. Every morning, I put on my pressed Brooks Brothers suit, grab a black coffee from the corner cafe, and head to Prudential Plaza on Michigan Avenue. That life, predictable as it is, was the one I built myself, without help, without privilege. Father once told me, "Amy, you have potential." Back then, I believed him. Now I wonder if he meant it, or if it was just something he said out of guilt. Father always seemed gentle and reserved, a man of few words, yet impossible to read. My childhood memories of him are like broken glass, sharp, scattered, incomplete. At Christmas dinner, while laughter filled the room, he would be silently flipping through reports by the fireplace. Even on my high school graduation day, when I looked into the crowd, he stood apart, talking on the phone, his face lit by the blue glow of the screen. Mother was the opposite, always loud, composed, and visible. Carol Bryant ruled her world like royalty. Her kingdom was the WKA district, Chicago's North Shore, an enclave of manicured lawns and imported chandeliers. Shopping sprees at Saks Fifth Avenue, charity luncheons at the Art Institute, front row seats at the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. Every event was a stage for her performance, and she played her part flawlessly. Then there was my sister, Jessica, 3 years younger, 2 steps ahead in mother's approval, married to an IT executive, mother of twin boys, and the apple of everyone's eye. She had once worked briefly in the company as an accounting assistant. I used to think we were close, but I was wrong. Jessica inherited everything from mother: the taste for luxury, the hunger for admiration, the perfect smile that hides everything real. When I graduated with an accounting degree, I told mother I wanted to work for father's company. Her reply was immediate and dismissive. "That's not suited for you. Try gaining experience elsewhere first." Her tone made it clear she meant never come back. So, I didn't. Now, here I am, 3 months after father's funeral, sorting through his belongings in the family mansion. Mother wanted to hire a professional service, but I refused. "No, I'll do it myself," I told her. She shrugged, probably relieved she wouldn't have to step into father's study again. To her, grief is inconvenient. To me, this was personal. It was early autumn in Chicago. The wind off Lake Michigan carried the first bite of cold, rustling through the amber leaves that lined the quiet streets of WKA. The bells from Fourth Presbyterian Church echoed faintly in the distance, a sound that once marked our Sunday mornings together as a family. Now, it was just another reminder of everything that had fallen apart. I climbed the stairs to father's study and opened the heavy mahogany door. The room was still, too still. Dust motes floated lazily in the sunlight streaming through the window, and the faint scent of tobacco and old books lingered in the air. The bookshelves stretched to the ceiling, packed with law volumes, medical journals, and binders labeled in father's neat handwriting. On his massive mahogany desk sat his favorite Parker fountain pen, still uncapped, as though waiting for him to return. "Box number 10, I whispered, setting down a cardboard box labeled Important Documents, 2014 to 2024. Inside were thick stacks of organized papers, bills, statements, contracts. Then I saw one blue file labeled Family-Related Expenses. I opened it absent-mindedly. The first page hit me like a blow. Family vacation, $115,000. Private school tuition, $50,000. New car purchase, $80,000. Mortgage assistance, $10,000. Christmas bonus, $33,000. Every line was a gift to Jessica's family. I flipped faster. Hawaii vacation. Luxury renovation. Down payment for a new house, another $100,000. And then it struck me. My name was nowhere. Page after page. Nothing. Not a single mention. I felt something rise in my throat, a mix of disbelief and nausea. My hands shook as I closed the file, and I looked around the silent room, desperate for an explanation. Why? I whispered. Why not me? Then I heard it, heels clicking against marble downstairs. Mother. She appeared in the doorway moments later, perfectly composed in her Chanel suit, pearls gleaming against her collarbone. Amy, she said smoothly, are you still cleaning up? I could barely speak. What is this? I held up the file. Her eyes flicked to the folder and then back to me. For a split second, I saw a flash of annoyance. Then she smiled, an icy, knowing smile. Oh, you found that? Why just me? I demanded, voice trembling. Why am I not in here? Her smile widened slightly. Because you're not part of this family, Amy. The words cut deeper than a blade. What are you talking about? Mother sighed and sank gracefully onto the sofa. I was against it from the very beginning. When Thomas brought you home from that orphanage, I said it was a terrible idea, but he insisted, said he saw potential in you. She gave a soft laugh. He was always too sentimental for his own good. The world around me blurred. That's not true. Oh, it is. You were 3 when he brought you in. We needed a little charity story for the magazines. You see, the Bryants adopt an orphan. It played very well in the social pages. She smoothed her skirt, perfectly calm. It's time you knew the truth. Jessica is my daughter. My real daughter. Everything we built, everything this family owns, will go to her. Naturally. My heart was pounding so loudly I could barely hear her last words. I stumbled backward, clutching the file like a lifeline, before bolting out of the room. Amy, leave those documents here. Her voice echoed through the marble hallway, but I didn't stop. I ran down the grand staircase, my heels striking the floor in a frantic rhythm, and burst through the front door into the cold autumn air. The wind cut against my face as tears blurred my vision. I ran to my car, started the engine with shaking hands, and drove, anywhere but there. In the rearview mirror, the mansion shrank into the distance, gleaming under the gray sky like a monument to lies. As the rain began to fall, my father's words returned, faint and haunting. Amy, you have potential. Were those words ever true, or just part of the illusion? I drove aimlessly through the streets of Chicago, past glittering skyscrapers and crowded intersections, until the city lights melted into streaks through my tears. Who was I, really? A daughter? A stranger? A convenient charity case? And what had father truly been hiding? A week has passed since that day. Chicago has fully donned its autumn coat, and the wind off the lake has grown sharper. It's my last day of leave. I stand by the window of my apartment, looking out at the fog curling over the rooftops. My phone screen glows with more than 100 missed calls, all from Mother. Her last voicemail replays in my mind, her tone no longer cold, but edged with something close to fear. Amy, pick up. We need to talk. It's about your father's files. You don't know what you're dealing with. She's wrong. For the first time, I realize that maybe, just maybe, father wanted me to find them. And I intend to find out why. Day by day, my mind was already made up. I knew I had to return to father's study, the place where everything began, and where it would finally end. The morning sun was just beginning to slip through the tall windows when I stepped into the room. Dust floated lazily in the golden light, and the faint scent of his cologne lingered, as if time itself had stopped here, waiting for me to come back. The study, untouched since the day I ran out a week ago, was wrapped in silence, a silence so deep it almost spoke. I have to finish this, I whispered to myself. my voice trembling. This wasn't just about finding the truth. It was about freeing both him and myself from the shadows that had haunted our family for years. Even an adopted child deserves to know where she truly stands, and what her father truly felt. I sat down at the mahogany desk, the same one where father used to spend countless nights working under the soft glow of his brass lamp. The drawers still smelled faintly of old paper and ink. I began opening them one by one: bills, ledgers, small notebooks, neatly labeled envelopes, each one a reflection of father's precision and order. Then I noticed something strange. At the back of the desk, there was a faint unevenness in the wooden panel, a subtle distortion that didn't belong. I ran my fingers along the backboard and felt an unnatural bump beneath the smooth surface. My heart quickened. Something was hidden there. In the corner of the study sat an old toolbox. I grabbed a screwdriver, hands shaking slightly. The screws came out far too easily, as though they had been waiting all this time for someone, me, to release their secret. When the backboard finally came loose, a small hidden compartment revealed itself. Inside lay a thick envelope sealed with wax, bearing the logo of Brown Associates law firm. My eyes caught the words written in father's familiar handwriting across the front. To Amy. My breath caught. My fingers trembled as I broke the seal and unfolded the contents. Inside were multiple documents, a USB drive, and a handwritten letter. For a long moment, I just sat there staring, afraid of what truths might be waiting. Finally, I took a deep breath and began to read. To my beloved daughter, Amy. I am truly sorry for the pain I caused you. The guilt of my failures as a father will never leave me. 20 years ago, there was accounting fraud at my company. It was your mother, Carol, then the financial director, who discovered it first. She and your sister, Jessica, used that secret to blackmail me, to protect the company's reputation and to keep you uninvolved. I gave in to their demands. To the world, it looked like I favored your sister's family. In truth, I was protecting you. But I've spent the last 20 years gathering evidence. It was the only form of redemption I could manage. The documents enclosed contain all proof of Carol and Jessica's crimes. The USB drive holds 20 years of transaction data. My friend, Attorney John Brown, knows everything. He will stand by you. And now, the truth about you. Yes, Amy, you were the child I brought home from an orphanage. But that was not charity, it was destiny. When I first saw you, I saw myself in your eyes, the same loneliness, the same integrity, the same unbreakable strength. Carol was against it, but I knew you were meant to be part of this family. If I failed to protect you from pain, it was because I was a coward, afraid that the company would fall and hundreds of employees would lose their livelihoods. I thought silence was the lesser evil. I was wrong. Forgive me, Amy. You are my greatest pride. Live without shame. Your life begins now. With love. Father. The words blurred as tears filled my eyes. My breath came in ragged sobs. Outside the window, the first birds of morning sang softly, and the roses father had planted beneath the window glistened with dew. I opened the folder next. Inside were records of embezzled funds, threatening emails, and transfers to secret accounts, everything Mother and Jessica had tried to bury. My father had organized them neatly, as if preparing a final gift of truth. At that moment, my phone rang. The sound jolted me. The caller ID showed an unfamiliar number. Is this Amy Bryant? A calm voice asked when I answered. This is, I said. This is John Brown. Your father told me everything. Could we meet? My office, 45th floor, John Hancock Center. As sunlight spread across the study, I looked up at father's photograph on the wall. He was smiling faintly, eyes calm and proud. It felt as though he was still watching over me. I pressed the letter against my heart and whispered, I'll finish what you started, Dad. The city shimmered with morning light as my car moved through Chicago's streets. In the rearview mirror, the old family mansion gleamed faintly in the distance, beautiful, but hollow. Ahead stood the towering skyline, symbols of ambition, corruption, and survival. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. I was my father's daughter, and I finally understood what that meant. 3 days later, the truth began to unfold. At sunset, I sat in my River North apartment, papers spread across the table, reviewing every document with Attorney Brown. He looked weary but satisfied. Thomas prepared all of this in silence. He said softly, every detail, every record. He wanted to protect you until he was sure you were strong enough to face it. That night, my phone buzzed endlessly. Dozens of missed calls. Mother, Jessica. Each voicemail more frantic than the last. Amy, pick up right now. The company's under audit. Do you understand what's happening? Stop this madness before everything falls apart. Her tone was filled with desperation, but all I heard was fear, the same fear that had once controlled my father. At 8:00 p.m., the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw them, Mother and Jessica. Both looked pale, their once confident faces lined with panic. I steadied my breathing, opened my phone's voice recorder, and unlocked the door. Come in, I said calmly. They stepped into the living room. The scent of cinnamon tea filled the air, steadying me. Mother spoke first, voice trembling. Amy, please, destroy those records. They'll ruin everything. Everything? I asked quietly. Or just you? Jessica's eyes darted nervously. You're just an adopted child. You don't understand what's at stake. I stood, meeting her gaze. No, Jessica, I understand perfectly. Father raised me to protect what truly mattered, honor. Their silence spoke volumes. I placed the USB drive on the table. 20 years of fraud, blackmail, and theft. It's all here. You wouldn't dare, Mother whispered. I already have, I said. Attorney Brown has copies. You and Jessica will resign immediately, and every stolen dollar will be returned. If you refuse, everything goes to the authorities by morning. The room went still. Even the city noise outside seemed to fade. Mother's voice broke. After everything we did for you, this is how you repay us? No, I said softly. This is how I repay Father. Their faces fell. The truth, sharp and undeniable, hung between us. Go home, I said finally. Think it over. You have until 9 a.m. They hesitated, then turned to leave. Just before the door closed, I added, and one more thing, I recorded everything tonight. Don't try anything foolish. The door clicked shut, leaving only silence. I sank into the armchair, exhausted, and looked at Father's photo on the shelf. His kind eyes seemed to hold the same warmth as always. Dad, I whispered, I hope I made you proud. Outside, Chicago's skyline glittered against the night sky, each light a promise, each shadow a reminder of what had been overcome. A new dawn was waiting, and for the first time in years, I was ready to meet it.